What's up, YouTube? This is Steven, and I'm back with a news article analysis. Alright, so I found this interesting article that relates to anthropology. And the title of the article is New quote unquote anthropological memoir is irritating Manhattan's one percenters. And I retrieved this story from a website called rawstory.com, so thanks a lot to them. So let me read the article, and as I read, I'll give my thoughts and opinions. All right. All right. It's a mommy memoir causing a rumpus in New York. How pill popping, wine quaffing, uber rich mothers on Manhattan's Upper East Side get year-end bonuses from their husband and hire tutors for toddlers. Quote unquote, Primates of Park Avenue is the latest among a long line of books devoted to the unimaginable wealth of the 1% in a city where some estimate that more than 20% of children live in homes without enough to eat. Okay. So the title of the book is called Primates of Park Avenue. And basically, it's kind of like, it's dubbed as a memoir, but it also is kind of like an anthropological, sort of. It comes from like an anthropological point of view, but it's like a memoir, sort of like a tell-all book to an extent. I haven't read the book yet. I may or may not read the book. I might read the book, possibly, if maybe. All right. Next, author Wednesday Martin seeks to distinguish the book from the jungle of other literature about extravagant excesses by mixing anecdote with anthropology. All right. And the author, Wednesday Martin, she has a degree in comparative literature from Yale. And she also, I believe she has a background in anthropology. And as well, she lived in that area, the Manhattan Upper East Side area. And also, there's one thing I wanted to mention about her. Oh yeah, it's not important, but her actual name is Wendy Martin, but her pen name is Wednesday Martin. There you have it. All right. Let's see. Next, the blonde mother of two with a husband in finance peppers her eyebrow-raising assertions with observations made by the English primatologist Jane Goodall in her study of chimpanzees in Tanzania. All right, so she is kind of like referencing Jane Goodall within her anthropological research of Manhattan one percenters, particularly the mothers, I think, or the women. All right, next. She equates her quest to acquire an ultra exclusive Hermes quote unquote Birkin bag, which can sell for $150,000 or more to a chimp seeking to show strength in the wild. That is very interesting. So basically, she's like, this is when these women buy these really expensive handbags, they're trying to assert themselves in a certain way to show their strength. Well, not their strength, but I guess in this case to show their wealth and how wealthy they are by just being able to drop $150,000 for a bag, like a purse. And she, like in Wednesday Martin, equates that to the chimp in the wild trying to show their strength. And yeah, I guess some people might be a bit, offended by being compared to an animal. That is true. All right, next. Martin details gender segregation at dinner parties where men and women sit at separate tables and portray women as quote unquote Manhattan geishas who sculpt their bodies and beauty to the extreme. All right, so I'm guessing they're getting tons of plastic surgery and cosmetic procedures done or something like that. And she speaks about these dinner parties, and I guess the men and women are segregated, which is odd. That's a bit strange. I guess unless it's like a sports event is on or something, I can understand that. But I thought, when you're eating, but I guess it's a dinner party and not necessarily a dinner. But yeah, there you have it. I'll go on to the next part. A thin and anxious, let's see, thin and anxious mommies self-medicate with wine, served at play dates, even as early as 11 a.m. and prescription drugs. Okay, so now she's saying that these women, I guess, abuse prescription drugs and alcohol at play dates. Their children's play dates, and as early as 11 a.m. Hmm. This is some strong, like, you know, like Wednesday Martin here. She is saying some very, very, you know, making some like strong allegations here. All right. Next, she feigns horror in discovering her son was the wrong has the wrong birth date in a culture of redshirting. And redshirting is defined as timing pregnancies so children are born in the autumn so that they are the oldest and presumably the most intellectual developed in their age group. So it's kind of like, okay, have them, I guess it's trying to make sure that their children, yeah, I guess it's basically as it's been stated in this article. Redshirting is just a way of gaining superiority or having their children gain superiority. And I've never even heard of redshirting until I read this article. I didn't even know people really did that purposely. But the rich gotta stay rich, So you need some intellect to stay rich. Let's see. Reviews of the book presented as an anthropological memoir have been decidedly mixed. Quote unquote, an amusing perspective and at times thrilling evil takedown of the upper class culture, wrote the New York Times. Yeah, it does seem like that is the intent of the book, to sort of like knock down the upper class a notch. That seems like the part of the purpose of the book. Let's see. Next, sexist and harsh, says Elle magazine. So yeah, Elle magazine is a magazine for women. So yeah, they would be on the side of women in this case. So, typical. Right. The New York Post fact-checked the book and alleged that it was full of lies, among others that Martin had lived on the Upper East Side for 3 years with one child and not 6 years with 2 children. Okay, so the New York Times fact-checked this book, and they saying that she lying. This woman is a liar because the lie, the lie that they mentioned is that she lived on the Upper East Side for 3 years with one child and not 6 years with 2 children. But she did live on. Either way it goes, she still lived and was exposed to the Upper East Side. Right? Let's see. Next, neither was she pregnant or confined to bed rest, dressed in pearls and a jacket when being interviewed for a condo, as the book said. All right, so I'm guessing this was a part of the book too, when she was trying to get into a condo, I guess, and she was pregnant or whatnot. But they're saying she lied about that too. So the New York Post is trying to just say that this chick is a total liar, basically, and her book is full of lies. And I'm pretty sure that whoever is with the New York Post might be in line with the upper class of Manhattan, of Manhattan's Upper East Side, So it would be in their interest to dismiss what she's saying in this book, right? But to be fair, I don't know, yay or nay. I don't know, so I can't say. Let's see. Author has not lied. Let's see. Martin and publisher Simon and Schuster have stood by the book, but say future copies will come with an author's note to explain that some names, characters, and chronologies have changed or had been changed. And that should have been in the first copy of the book. Like, usually they do that in anthropological books. You do have to change people's names because you want to protect who you're researching, you know? So that was a mistake on Martin's part. I'd say like the publishers are at fault too, but more so Martin's part because she comes from a background of anthropology, supposedly, so she should have known about that. But perhaps maybe she used the real names, thus not having to need a note to say, okay, this is this is that, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, she still should have been changing names and put the note there from the beginning. All right, next. Carrie Goldstein, an executive director of publicity at Simon and Schuster, said that such notes were totally customary for memoirs. Yeah. Again, okay, this is a memoir as it's supposed. So, like, okay, so someone should have caught this. Who didn't like? Why didn't someone catch this? If not, the author, the publisher, someone should have caught this and put that note in. All right, next, quote unquote. The author has not lied. There isn't a movement or backlash against Wendy Martin, Goldstein told AFP. The brouhaha has certainly been good for sales. That is true because it has got me interested in reading this book. Let's see, released on June 2nd, it is already #1 on Amazon's list of best-selling memoirs. Let's see. The book is doing very well, Goldstein said. The publishers are in the 6th printing run with 63,000 copies produced. Okay, so, homegirl selling some books here. So kudos to them. And as far as Amazon is concerned, I did go on Amazon and I saw some reviews for the book, and the average rating of the reviews, it averages about a 2.5-star rating out of 5 for the review of this book. And this is based so far on about 50 books. Well, sorry, 50 reviews, more or less. Probably a little more than 50 reviews. And so, yeah, those 50 reviews averaged a rating of 2.5 stars out of 5. Yeah. But hey, people buying the book so far. So you do your thing, Wednesday Martin. Keep doing your thing, I guess. Keep hustling. Let's see. Next, an essay written by Martin introducing the book is the 3rd most emailed article on the New York Times website in the last 30 days. Yeah, a lot of different news sources are picking up this story. I know like People Magazine picked up the story. The Washington Post wrote something about this story. The New York Times wrote something about this story. The Denver Post wrote something about this story. As well as the blogosphere too. Like a lot of like big name news sources as well as people in the blogosphere are picking up this story. Let's see. Quote unquote, many people are fascinated and some people may have been appalled by the lifestyles of the very wealthy. People live vicariously or they live in judgment, Goldstein said. I never thought about it that way. But people live vicariously or they live in judgment. Let's see. What is clear is that the slim tome about TOM, the slim tome, All right. About New York's wealthiest zip code has sparked fury, bafflement, and confusion from ladies who have flocked to the papers saying she's got it all wrong. All right, so she's probably upset some Upper East Siders, some one percenters here. Quote unquote, I think it's an effort to dehumanize these people. It seems to be a divisive book designed to humiliate a group of people. People magazine quoted an anonymous uptown mom as complaining. Hmm. I can understand where she's coming from, but people might not be so sympathetic just because there's like these people are so rich and have so much money and as well influence and power, wealth, and prestige, you know, that it's like, okay, they're just really going after people who are in the position of power, more or less. Had this book been about, say, a very poor ethnic community, and she wrote very nasty things or very controversial things about, a poor group of ethnic people, then I could kind of understand that a bit more because, like, these people are already marginalized and oppressed. So why add to that? But in this case, people might not be so sympathetic because these people are seen as people who are privileged, you know? And this would just be a knockdown to kind of like take their privilege down a notch. But not even that, really, if you think about it. um, but I can understand where she's coming from, where she's just like, hey, we're not all like that. All right. All right. Next. In particular, wealthy women scoff at their much hyped passing remark that glam stay-at-home moms get a percentage of their husband's year-end bonus for looking good and taking care of the kids. See, quote unquote, I don't know anybody, and I mean anybody, who has something like that written in their prenup. And I know a lot of people. Vanity Fair quoted Upper East Sider Allison Aston as saying, quote unquote, it might be happening in extreme cases, but it's certainly not the norm. So it's like, okay, maybe, the author Wednesday Martin took a lot of extreme cases in order to make her memoir more interesting and just put all the extreme cases into the book, perhaps. But again, I haven't read this book, so it's, I can't really say yay or nay. And as well, I never lived on the Upper East Side. I'm not that fortunate to come from that sort of privileged background. I'm much more of the working class. But again, had this book been written about, say, Harlem or Queens, I'm pretty sure the backlash would be like, you would probably be hearing about this a lot more, probably. And probably with good reason. But I think that, people are a little less sympathetic just because these people are so overly privileged as they are now. And I'm kind of interested to read this book. It seems like it kind of comes off as like um, a scathing expose of the Manhattan's Upper East Side community, and I wonder what was the ethnic background of these people. Were the majority of these people Caucasian Americans or white Americans? Or was it like, okay, we have a mix of like, here's some ethnic folk, POCs, or here's some non-POCs, you know? But I'm assuming this book pretty much revolves around white Anglo-Saxon Protestant people, specifically white Anglo-Saxon Protestant women. who are very privileged. And I wonder what prompted her, Wednesday Martin, to write this book. I wonder what made her want to write this book. But this makes me kind of want to write a book about something along the lines of this, but not necessarily this right here. But yeah, I think this is very interesting, and I am possibly interested in reading this book. You know, seeing what this book is about. But there you have it. I think this book is probably going to be more like anthropology light or pop anthropology. You know, this is the type of book that will appeal to more of the masses versus like the people who are like in, academia, you know. But that's what anthropology needs, though, to become more mainstream, and that's what it needs. So there you have it. Feel free to comment, feel free to subscribe, feel free to give me a thumbs up. Your feedback and your support are extremely appreciated and extremely valued. And to the next news article analysis, adios and goodbye for now.